First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High and His only begotten Son. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. All right, double honors unto the apostles and elders, a great millstone, root and teach well. Wabarak Thumb unto the hopeful elect. All right, now today through the Spirit, I'm going to do a quick live entitled A Doer of the Word. Right, and what prompted me to want to make this quick hit, just ride along as I'm on the way to camp, is, the Spirit had me come across this little post, and on the post it said, the path is narrow, because how the scriptures in Matthew 7 chapter, Matthew 7 and 14, speaks on how it's a straight gate. It says, broad is the way to destruction, and narrow is the way to life and peace, loosely paraphrasing. You see? Because when you come into the truth, you got to suffer. You got to actually put things, you got to actually apply Yahweh Shai and apply the things that he stood for, which will lead to you being hated, persecuted, right? That's why you have those chapters like 1 Peter, the 4th chapter, right? Where those chapters in Peter, where Nero was persecuting Israel, man, Israelites. And that was right before the worst persecution came in 70 AD. But it was even persecution happening before that, blaming them for different acts and things of that sort, like accusing them. So that's why Paul's writing those letters. You read about it like 1 Peter 4 and so on and so forth, about them having that spirit to endure the persecution and the hell. You see? Well, we're getting ready to be in that same trial period. And that's the part of what you inherit from doing what's in the scriptures. When you actually apply these scriptures, it'll come with you being persecuted. It'll come with hate. People will hate you for the word's sake. People will separate you from their company. You see? You're going to have discomfort in the flesh because you're battling the lust of the flesh. So it's going to cause you to suffer, right? So that's why that narrow path, actually being obedient, doing what the Lord said, that's known as that narrow straight gate. You see? And most people don't understand that's what's required to follow Yahweh Shai. You got to put yourself in straights. You see? You can't just do the lust of the flesh and do whatever you want to do. You have to put yourself in subjection to the scriptures, right? So that's why, what prompted me to do the video is being a doer of the word. Well, that post that I seen, it stated that the narrow path is you actually obeying what the Lord said, and that broad path is ultimately you choosing to follow. That's basically you saying I believe, but you're still doing the same things, right? You say you believe in the Lord, but you're not doing anything the Lord said to do. All right, what are examples? People will say they believe in the Lord, but then they're cool with the alphabet community, right? Or people will say that they believe in the Lord, but they're cool with the way the earth is being ran right now. You see all these fake GMO foods, genetically modified foods and stuff like that. If you're okay with all these things, if you're okay with, like, for example, Israelites, black culture, if you're okay with black culture, you see, these are all things that are contrary to the scriptures. Adultery is another thing, right? In this society we live in, adultery is pushed out on a high level. Women leave marriages. You see, they step out on their husbands, and the society condones that. You see, but when you actually being obedient to the Lord, you're not going to stand for these various evil things this world is pushing out. That's why henceforth you'll be walking in that straight gate, that hard path. You see, because that broad path, you accept all those things. You accept the alphabet community. You'll accept adultery. You'll accept, all this fornication happening, like the corn industry. I'm saying that code words because they'll flag the video. But you'll accept all those things if you're in that narrow path. But if you're in the straight path, you're going to have an issue with these things that are contrary to the scriptures. And you'll want a theocracy. You see, a theocracy is a government ruled by righteousness, ruled by what's in the Bible, what's in the scriptures. And that's who the world really called Jesus. His name is Yahweh Shai. That's what he's going to set up. It's a theocracy on the earth. That's why it says, my will be done on earth as it is in heaven, in a prayer. because the Lord is going to establish righteousness on the earth again. He's going to destroy all people that are against that, and he's going to establish a righteous standard on the planet earth again. You see? How do we know that? Well, we can read about it in Revelation, the 19th chapter. You see how he's going to have a rod of iron, and he's going to judge all the nations. You can read about it in Psalms, the 2nd chapter, right? Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and you shall rule them with a rod of iron. But what does that mean? That's meaning he's going to subject them in righteousness. It's not going to be no more of this wickedness we see in this society right now. You see, where we see alphabet community, right? Where we see adultery is all rampant. You see, back then it was a punishment for a woman stepping out on her husband. You see, back in the biblical times. And then for men that's laying up with other men's wives, it was a punishment for that. You would die. You see, and that's who the world really calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahushua. He's going to establish that back on the earth. It's going to be a righteous planet earth again. You see, but in order for that to happen, Paul said it best. Through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. So it's going to come with suffering. And that suffering is by you doing what's in the scriptures. You standing for what's in the scriptures. You see, that's why the scriptures speak about he that feareth the Lord maketh himself a prey. You see, you become an enemy when you actually do what's in the scriptures. We actually put an application what's in the Bible. You become an enemy into this world. You see, because this world is foundationized off wickedness. You see, it's foundationized off of being contrary to what's in the Bible, right? So if somebody wants to be accepted of the world, they're going to further all this wicked stuff. Like they're going to further women being on their own and having a whole bunch of partners, they're not going to be about women being with one man. They're not going to be about the regular family nucleus. They're going to accept two of the same GENDERs being with each other, right? They're going to accept all this evil stuff. Even a dietary law. There's a dietary law. There are certain animals and creations we're not supposed to eat. You're not supposed to eat pigs, man. You're not supposed to eat swine. That's in Leviticus. You can read about that. I believe it's Leviticus 11 or Leviticus 13. One of the two. It names all the animals that you can eat and that you're not supposed to eat. And what is the role of a pig? A pig is supposed to clean the earth. You see? They clean up all the waste from the earth. And then you read about the dietary law about the fish. So a lot of the fish, certain fish are meant to clean the bottom of the earth, like catfish. You have crabs, right? Crab, they clean the bottom of the ocean and the water. So that way it stays clean. So you see the water is all polluted because everybody's eating all the animals that clean the ocean. But that's in the scriptures that you're not supposed to eat those things. You see? And also pigs carry a lot of parasites as well. And then you're not supposed to eat no bear or no lion. It names all that in the scriptures. You see? But that's not pushed out in the society we live in. You see? So if you come against and you speak out against these things, you're going to make yourself an enemy into this world. And it's going to lead to you being persecuted, right? That's why the Messiah, Yahushua, his name is Yahushua. He's in John the 15th chapter. He said, the world will hate you because it hated me before it hated you, man. You see? Because the scriptures say if you were of the world will love his own. And when it goes to that word world, it's talking about an arrangement of people. The harmonious arrangement, right? And that arrangement of people is what? The people that stand for what we see right now. This age we see right now. You see? And what do you see in this society we live in right now? Straight evil and wickedness. And most people, they're okay with this place. They don't want the Lord to establish the kingdom. They want to stay here. They want to continue to be here. They don't want the Lord to return back. Like it speaks about in Revelation 1 and 7 on that cloud, right? Behold, he coming with clouds. You see? And even those that pierced him shall see him. You see? People don't want to see the Messiah return because when he returns, he's going to bring judgment. And he's only going to save and deliver those that truly have faith in him, which they're going to be of his people. You see? Because the Israelites are scattered amongst the four corners of the earth. There's Israelites that look like all the different nations. And how will we know if somebody's an Israelite or not an Israelite? Because they'll be able to receive this word. This word is what gathers the Lord's people together, right? So somebody is able to receive the true doctrine, the true word, the correct understanding, That's how you'll be able to know that they're actually an Israelite. They're actually one of the chosen, the children of the Lord. You see? So this word is going out through the four corners of the earth, and it's gathering together the true believers. And that's who's going to make it. That's who's going to be delivered and make it into the kingdom the first go round, the true believers. But the true believers are going to get persecuted. They're going to go through all types of tribulation. Right? If the scriptures say what? If you shall live godly, you shall suffer persecution. For being what? A doer of the word and not a hearer only. You're going to suffer persecution. You see? You're going to be came against. They're going to lie on you. Right? And that's what you see happening to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Lies. You see? They're going to get ready to blame us like they were blaming the apostles and disciples back thousands of years ago. When the Romans had buildings being burnt up, they were blaming the believers and they were persecuting them. That's why you read Peter, he was writing those letters to them. It was in that format because they were getting accused of false things. They were going through hell. And we're getting ready to go through hell right now. You see? But what does James, the first chapter, say? Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. So we have to continue to keep striving in the faith and standing for what's right, according to the scriptures. For who the world only calls his name Jesus, his name is Yahushua. You got to stand for what he stood for, what he believed in. And further that in the planet Earth. And that's the ones who are going to make it. That's why the scripture's saying what? That's Revelation 12 and 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved their lives not unto the death. So the true believers are going to be willing to lose their life for the sake of the ministry. The elect, they're going to be willing to lose their life for the gospel and the ministry's sake. While everybody else is going to be in that, they're going to bend the knee. They're going to take what you call the MOTB, the mark, the Revelation 13 and 16, which they're getting ready to push in the planet Earth. The MOTB, which is the mark, is going to be an R to the F to the I to the D, C-hip. You see? R-5, D, C-hip. I'm saying it in code because they'll flag the video. But they're getting ready to push that on you people, man. You see? And if you don't take that C-hip, then you won't be able to buy or sell or do anything in society. You see? And they're getting ready to force everybody to take it inside their hand or in their forehead. You see? That's why you have Elon Musk, he has that N-link, that Neura L-I-N-K, right? That's that MOTB. You see? But the way you're going to overcome that is through holding fast to the word of the Lord, the testimony, and having faith on who the world only calls Jesus. His name is Yahushua. Having faith on Yahushua, on his saving power. That's how you're going to be able to be delivered. But what comes with you having faith is what? Doing what he said, obedience. That's why I opened up with, that straight gate. Because within you being obedient to the Lord, guess what's going to happen? You're gonna get persecuted. You're going to lose relationships. People are going to hate you. You're going to get lots of enemies, so on and so forth, because of what you believe in. Come on, man, this guy can't drive. Yeah, because of what you believe in. You see? So that's the point I wanted to go into this video, man. There's a difference between those that believe in the Lord. Because people can say they believe all day, but not everybody actually does what the Lord said, though. You see? And that's what separates the true believer, because the real believers, the true worshipers, they're going to be doing what the Lord said, being obedient to death. They're going to be willing to lay down their lives, while others, they're going to bend the knee, right? They're going to take that C-hip, that Revelation 13 and 16, that mark, right? Which is physical. And that's going to be the only way you can buy or sell in society. But the elect, the true chosen of the Israelites, they're not going to bow down. You see? They're going to hate their lives until the death. They're going to be willing to lose their life because of the belief in the Lord's saving power, and be willing to lose their life and not take the MOTB, not take that mark, that charagma. You see? So that's the point I wanted to go into on this video. Lord willing, this lesson edified. I like to end it all by saying, call hello, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double earns to the apostles, elders, great millstone, root and teach well. Till next time, Qambachaayar, Shalom.